Alright, welcome to Wednesday. So the biggest thing I have to share this morning is I fixed the headset casting. So I should be able to actually show what I'm working on a little bit today. Or at least demos of it as it's going. I think I'm going to change up things. So object tracking book in video feed. I've actually been prototyping that in Python with OpenCV. And my setup on this machine for Python isn't the best. So I've been doing that on a MacBook, and I'm making progress on that. I think I might spend this afternoon working on that to see if I can get it good enough. And then either it's not and I'll abandon the work, or I'll get that transcribed over to C++, in which case come Monday when I stream, which will be the next day I stream, then we'll see the fruits of this. Or at least then I'll be able to test on the headsets. I imagine, I don't know, it'll probably be a lot slower on the headset, so hopefully the question will be, is it faster than my current approach? And does it actually find the outer border of the book instead of what I'm doing right now, which is getting the page, like the text. It's getting the actual text blobs, which means that we lose the header and footer, which is not the best. So I think I'm going to do that separately. Today, I think we're going to focus on like the speed of OCR feedback. Maybe that's what I should have titled the stream instead. And I think there's a couple of things I want to do here. Yeah, so these I'm not doing these today. But let's do OCR one page at a time. And we could do abort future remaining chunks for quality. So if we're failing to, because like one thing that'll happen is we chunk the OCR and then we stitch them back together. So when that second chunk comes in and we try to stitch it up, if it doesn't attach, like I detect that, I know that it's happening, but it's like if the second one doesn't attach, none of them are going to attach. So we should just be able to call down into C++ and tell it to just stop OCRing and like let's go back to the main core loop and like yeah, let's try OCRing again. Other things I could do here that should be pretty quick to implement, but maybe improve quality. I would say more UI feedback states. Like right now there's only like 3 of them, but I'm sure there's something I could do there that will make it more obvious what's going on. The one page at a time, again, I think we can like focus on the page that matters. And then so that like whatever page you're looking at more directly, the one that's more square, I think is what I should go off of. I was thinking square and larger. The problem with larger is, I think the issue I ran into was if you're holding the book flat, where one page is flat and the other page is kind of at an angle, that angled page could end up taking up more space in the scene. And so if we go off size, then we may accidentally decide that that page is the one to OCR, when really the quality there would be worse. So I think it's going to be flatness. Like we really will go off of whichever page is the flatter one is the one we should be scanning. Which means then if you hold the book a certain way, we should always get the page, consistently get the page that you're holding flat. Yeah, a lot of this is just about, like, I've been testing this on my own, like trying to read books in the app, and I've run into frustrations. And in fact, do I have, did I ever put Simple Note on here? Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Oh, that's right. I'm not writing it in Simple Note. I'm handwriting this. I'm doing this as like a little journal activity for myself. Cool. So I can kill that. Yeah, in my journal, so the last time I did this, Yeah, the 3 issues was book too far away. It just always says book's too far away. I think I already fixed that. The book anchored in the left hand was annoying. There is no quick fix for that. I tried doing that on Monday. So, and then bad OCR when we don't OCR well, we have no recovery mechanism. Yeah, so I think there also needs to be a way here of say quickly re-OCR chunk 1. That's what I'll add as that note. Okay, and if I'm going to do this, I kind of need a little bit of a note place for myself. All right, I'll just dump this here. There. That way if I need to like... Because once I right quit and run that, I'm not going to be able to see what I wrote there. All right, so where are we at pull request wise? So we got small improvements here. Lots of little things. I actually ended up undoing the one thing I did on Monday. And that was quick scan. I moved the HUD. And I just moved that to make it more readable since we've disabled it. There was no reason not to use the variable there. This is basically linting errors. I've turned off the right page for now. So this will be the thing I fixed today. And I allowed the size to be smaller. I wonder if that will... Am I already seeing issues with that? Because I have noticed the quality has suffered lately with OCR. I wonder if it's because of this. Maybe I need to make it bigger again. I'll try that. But here we are, yeah, we're getting a little bit of a better, you know, a little bit of better messaging. And then, oh yeah, like we have like whether or not the tests failed. So if the unit tests fail, we fail early. So fail early if unit tests fail. Let me just do a little housekeeping here real quick. Yeah, so, you know, it's always important to keep track of what you're doing. Your future self will thank you. I always find, like, sometime in the, like 6 months from now, I'm gonna have to go do some archaeology as to why I made a decision months before, and coming across comments like this to myself are valuable. Let's do move HUD above book. And again, as I mentioned earlier, I'll actually be able to show this today because I fixed the headset's connection to the desktop. Small linting fixes. I'll just call those linting fixes. And then prioritize flatness over page size. And then the test suite failing. Cool, and actually, the way I should do this is we go back here. And that's what we should be doing. OCRing one page at a time, the flattest page. So that's the first thing we're going to work on today. And then Yeah, abort remaining chunks for quality. If quality is low. More UI feedback states for where OCR is. And then try to do something like quickly re-OCR chunk 1. Lazy background job. Yeah, I could see that being like the second we're done with chunk 1, immediately kick off a new job in the background to get that same page again. Yeah, I wonder if we could, like, after confirming quality, maybe. All right, I'm gonna delete this. Delete. All right, so these are done. Yeah. All right, so OCR one page at a time. So the way that works, well, we're only OCRing one page. I think the thing is going to be that we're going to have to do this step first, right? So we check these things. We need, like, this step needs to happen first. Which, you know, arguably this isn't processing the page, right? All right, so we're gonna do, let's call it a standard vector. So we're gonna do an array of well, in C++, give me an example of a very simple function that returns an int and a float. Function signature. What does that look like? One value directly, but you can return multiple values using a pair or a tuple. Right. So using a pair, and then we get values as a tuple. I like tuple better. Am I already using tuple? Pair. Despair. No. All right, let's do tuple. Let's try that. And that's standard library, right? So we're what here? Right. So int float. Got it. And we will call this, what should I call it? It's kind of scoring the page, but we're not, like, it's, I mean, we're getting the size and rectangularity of the page. Let's say, let's get page metadata. Let's do that. It's an array of frames, right, because we have multiple of them. Right. So we're going to want this again. And then we also need the page shape. So we will need this. And we don't need which page it is. Cool. So now, let's see here. I mean, I guess we could, because we do... Fine. Let's pass it in. That way I don't have to, like, refactor this just yet. So it's going to have the entire same signature, basically. But now we're going to take this out. And we're going to put it here. And we will return, according to this, since there's a tuple, I can just return curly brackets of yeah, fine. Page size and rectangularity. Now, I do need to grab this and go to the .h. As a private method, where is process page? Oh, public. Oh, gross. How did that happen? We have 2 sections of private. There it is. I didn't know you could do that in C++, and I don't like it. Fine. Let's do... Right? Private. It's not like protected. No, yeah, it's private. Well, let's fix that. Let's move the public stuff up here. And then these other private things. That should work, right? Yeah, most things are private. Yeah, so we have like the thread editing, like this. I don't want to get into refactoring right now, but however, yeah. Okay, fine. And then this should heal itself. Gotcha. So this is a Boolean. Now, you could argue getting the metadata, maybe it should just stop here. Maybe. Let's do that. Let's bring this back down. So this will still be here. Not the return, though. That'll go here. And I could pass them in as args. We'll get there. We'll figure that out. You know, it's kind of like, what is the behavior I want? Right, so let's, instead of writing the code, let's write the interface first, because that'll tell us how we want things to go. All right, so we have our text regions. So we have our page shape, right? So what we would do is we're gonna have, I don't know, let's do it left page again. So, oh yeah, how do we get the return from this? Cool, right. So we'll do auto, like an array, right? Okay. Left size, left rectangularity is going to be equal to, and we should just call it directly. Get the metadata, and we're going to pass in the same stuff. And we'll do the same thing for right. Now, see, I already don't like this, right? I don't want to have to... What if instead of this, see, this is ugly. Yeah, see, this is why it's good to do this exercise. Instead, what I'd like to do is, what we should do is, so instead of returning a tuple like this, I think a tuple can have 3. What if there is a third return? So instead what I would like to do maybe is so CV frames won't change. Right, so you could still use a tuple. I thought so. I don't know, for tuples, for some reason, I always feel like it feels wrong to use more than 3 things. All right, in any case, what if we did auto, there we go. Yeah. Okay. So, fine. We'll return some things. And it would be get best page. And we would pass in CV frames, page shapes, and that's it. Right? So, still passing in the frames. Now we're just passing in the whole array, because instead, like, we're going to have to do this ourselves for our page number. And then we could do... Yeah, page shapes. Where's page shapes used? Okay, so it is used there. So instead, what we could do then is page shape is one thing returned. And then, is current page number used anywhere? Yeah, we do pass that through over to Tesseract. Yeah, we do use middle index again. All right, so for now, let's leave this here. So this logic's complete. It'll still run. Let's just build out the next thing, right? So we get best page. We would still need the frames. Still going to need that. We still want the page shape. Okay, so the signature of this doesn't change. We know we do need to pass everything in the same way. Instead of, though, page shapes, we're just going to have page shape. So then we're going to end up doing something like if if page shape if page shape then page number is already a thing, right? No, we should be fine there. Unless we're not. Hold on. Yeah, page number is a thing. Private value. Fine. So then we would do page num. Frames doesn't change, right? Now I can change this to that. These are dumb. Don't need these. And so that's a lot cleaner now. So now we've got a function that we can just pass in the frames and it's going to spit out for us. Like we get all those shapes. We pass in those shapes and we're going to get whichever page is the best. And if we don't, I mean, it could be none, right? So, where are we on that? There. Let's change that signature. Right. So for this, instead, we're going to do... Right, the signature's off. So now it's going to be... Link stopped working. You better not have. Sorry. This is page shapes now. So, yeah, so this changes now to that. So now it's a vector of vectors. And we're going to return a single page shape as the first thing. And as the second thing is going to be an int. Right? Good. So now you should be happy. We are going to return page shapes 0 for starters. Let's just hard code it. And 0 as our default. Why are you complaining? Expression must have Boolean type. Oh. I ended up with a return type of tuple width. What if I optionally want to return an empty result for the first first return value? Yes, common and important. Empty vector. Okay, so I could just return that. Dot empty. Gotcha. Okay. So now I can just return that. And yeah, sure, maybe I'll return -1. If not empty, then call it. What are you complaining about? Oh, too few arguments. Oh, yeah, it doesn't take current page number anymore. That is not part of the signature. Oh, gross. Boolean. Int. Who the hell coded that up? I'm gonna fire that person. But it's only a 0 or 1, right? If it looks like a boolean and quacks like a boolean. Yeah, that was a little gross. Okay. All right, so that's our signature for methods. Cool. So now we can just work inside of here. And let's see here. The way we will do this is I guess we're going to have to do it for a for loop. For was it const auto ampersand IDX, and that's in 0, 1. Can we do that? It's not going to like it. Perfect. Random question. How can I do a for loop where I'm just iterating over 0 and 1, as those are the only two indexes I care about? Ah, okay. So slightly differently than what I was doing. Fine. So for int I in that. Yeah, that's nicer looking. Okay. So we can do this. We'll shift it in. I don't know if we need this middle index here. Yeah, I don't think so. Shapes I. So we get the ith shape. It's shapes now. Great, there we go. And then we can keep track of the best. So could do double best size. Well, I think I'm only gonna care about how do I want to do this? Yeah, I mean, I guess we're kind of doing and rectangularity. No. All right, let me suss this out. So store best result, whatever that is. I'm going to do if better than current best, store it. Okay, and then down here, I think we can bring this stuff back, right? So this is where we then have the best version of these things. And if the best version doesn't match our criteria, then we error and throw early. So I think we will do this. We will bring this back up. Let's see here. Yeah, at this point, we don't care about any of these things. Right? We do care about this middle index because that gets used in a couple spots. Right, and so then process page gets right into doing the processing. And in this case, then, we can return empty and -1. Right? Yeah. Current page number is yeah. So let's see here. And then these will be variables. So what we can do is grab you. We'll call call you page shape equals page shape psi. And then this gets a little bit flatter. Fine, let's just do, nope, let's do that best page shape equals, you know, we'll initialize it to empty, right? And then that way, int, we can do best page number equals -1. There. So in the event that something fails, it doesn't go quite right, we will still basically return this. Right, in this case, we're failing an explicit check, so we would return it. But in the off chance that, I don't know, something like fails to go right, if we never end up assigning these to anything, then we'll end up also returning the empty values. That's reasonably clean. So, fine, let's see here. Fine, well, let's just do it this way, the hacky way. I may refactor it later. Best page size equals I don't know, can you just do 0 for that, probably? Can we do that and then best? Yeah, we can do those. And I'm just going to do something simple here, and we'll say that if rectangularity is greater than best rectangularity. So we're just going to go off rectangularity for now. I'm going to test this, see if this is the right approach. I think this makes sense. Just go with whatever page is flatter, because the flatter page will be the page that their eyes are actually looking at. And then from there, then we're just testing, you know, we still then care, okay, it might be the flattest page, but is it like actually flat, number one. And then two, like, is it reasonably close that we can get a good OCR off of it? And so anyway, if it is, then we'll set this to our page shape. And we'll go with best page number equals I. Best page size equals page size. This feels a little ugly. My spidey sense is tingling for code quality. Like there's something not right about this. Is our rectangularity. I think I may be overthinking this. I don't know. Yeah. Let's just live with it for a minute. I'm sure later my brain will trigger. So we'll do best rectangularity. And then best page size. There we are. So we'll do those comparisons again. If everything's too small, then and only then do we throw up our here, best page num. Yeah, so if we fail this check, then that means like our best page still isn't up to snuff with the criteria, and we throw up a message up to the front end just so I can log something for myself, and we return. Otherwise, we're returning the best page. And once we have our best page, as long as it's not empty, meaning like we actually found a good page, then we'll call process. So then none of this is needed. And there, we've got a little bit of a cleaner implementation. Now, one caveat is, do we ever want to be in a situation where we process the other page? If we did, how would we do that? I mean, I guess we have page number here, right? And really all we're returning from this function is, you know, the opposite page shape. So what we could do is call this and then immediately also kick off a job for the other one. Because we can get the page shape for the other index that's not this one, and then kick off a background job for it. I've thought about doing that. I wanted to wait until I've done some profiling of the app, because I want to see, I don't know, can I see if like one of the CPUs is idle and just not doing much, which I suspect is the case. And if that's the case, we could, as a background job, process the other page that we're not currently processing. Yeah. All right, so this probably works. It's going to break the test suite, that's for sure. But let's run it. Yeah, we'll build all. Might as well. Question is, does this look good on the headset? As long as it looks good on the headset, I'm happy for now. And yeah, this is like a little ugly, but could be worse. I mean, doing this as a for loop is a little silly, right? Like we could just have done this once for page 0 and then done it again for page 1, or like really just done the rectangularity. Oh yeah. Page size. Well, so we needed rect. Page size. Nah, yeah, we needed all this. Because rectangularity we need for the page size we need for the rectangularity. So it's not like we can cut corners there. Tuple, you don't like tuple. Doesn't like the -1. Because -1's not an integer. "32 candidates." What do you mean? Alright, well, what if we just went with like 1? Let's just do Android. Fail faster this way. Okay, so now it's happy. I guess it just can't do -1. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but we will set it to 0. No. Doesn't like it. Okay, so it wasn't Android, it was Windows that had the problem. Okay. Getting the following error related to returning a hard-coded result for the function when we want to return an empty result. I assume it's going to know what that is. Ah, yes, this is one of those classic C++ blah, blah, blah. You wrote this, and your function returns int. The problem is that could mean several things in this context, or a tuple initializer list, or other overloads. Which one you mean, hence ambiguous. So we could make a tuple. This explicitly says make a tuple of an empty vector point in integer 1, or tuple constructor. I'm not on 17, I don't think. Gotcha. Okay. So maybe the -1 wasn't the issue. That's why we test often, right? All right, let's run it again. All right, so now we're saying create a tuple. The first one's going to be this, and it's going to be empty. The second's just an integer. Is it going to be happy? Okay, it's happy now. And I'll just build all while we're at it. All right, so going back to our to-do list. Yeah, so this will work. The only issue is in the test suite, there are some scenarios where I'm expecting to do both pages. I guess I just have to decide, do I want to try to OCR? Is there ever a scenario where I would want to do both pages back to back like that? I think my hypothesis for now would be no. That you're only ever going to be looking at one page. One page is going to have the best lighting. It's going to be the flattest. It's going to be the best to OCR. The challenge with that is we won't OCR the second page until you've adjusted yourself to be focused on the second page. Which means when you're done reading the left side of the book, and then you like adjust the book so now the second side is flat, that's when we would OCR it. Whereas I would very much like to have that ready to go when you're done reading the first page. Of course, we have this problem constantly anyway, because the second you flip the page and start reading again, you're going to run into this problem. So the question is like, do you run into this problem for every page, or is it just, every time you flip the page of the book. So maybe it's better to live, for me anyway, to live with the pain of this being slow when you change pages and see if I can just speed it up in other ways instead of trying to do the cheat hacky, hey, let's OCR the other page while we're at it. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let me go with that for now. It's simpler code-wise to do it this way. And if it, again, if it's a big enough problem, I'll fix it later. All right, finish building, right? And then we can do run tests. We'll skip building since we already did that manually. And we'll run the whole test suite, and the whole test suite is going to hate us. Unit test pass. And really, it's this one test here where I have them running back to back. Interesting. I wonder. Where is that? Angled page 1 only. Oh, here we go. Why are we hung here? All right, let me go look at the test suite. So how was this working? We do the simple tests, run next test. So we run things. And got results from OCR, right? Yeah, we're doing that multiple times. We got our page. If, so we just keep waiting. If final chunk. Always wait for the second page to okay, this is what it was. So we're always waiting for the second page. Interesting that it's stuck here. Weren't there other tests that ran? Interesting. Okay. Let's just turn this off for now. And let's try this again. All right, I mean, it's got to finish. It might get stuck here. See, this is left and right, but we're not expecting that to run. I feel like we're missing tests. Yeah, something's wrong. I mean, I can keep saying that, but obviously it's going to be the case for quite a bit. Yeah, we're missing a bunch of tests. Yeah, line frames. Never found a line to match. Oh, I wonder if... Yeah. Right page. Okay. Because the right page was more square? Interesting. Is that true? Where am I? Line frames. Well, I'm kind of holding it in the middle. So I'd believe it. I'd believe that the right side is more square. Hahaha. Okay. That's cute. But all the same, never found a line to match. Ah. Didn't want that. Where am I? I'm kind of lost here. Here we go. Now that's backend. This is not in Godot. So let me think here. Okay, so the issue is it's not far away. I mean, it's too far away. It is literally like 98% there. Let's cheat for the moment. We can go 190 and run it again. Oops, that's not going to work. We're going to have to build before we do that. I don't want to make this change just to have a test pass. In fact, I'd rather delete the test because I know some of these tests are kind of garbage. Did it actually save a debug image? It shouldn't have. Why are you over top? I don't understand. Windows has been quite weird lately. Really bugging me. Testing test results. The 5th. Today's the 5th, right? Yeah. Why is it writing images? It's running the whole test suite. It's not supposed to do that. Hold on. Do I have debugging? Where do I have that? Debug files false if has skip files. Didn't we have skip files in there? -- skip files. So skip files was in there. We just didn't honor it. Huh. We're missing the -- Okay, there's a minor bug there then. Let me go fix that. So if we call skip build, we do the -- I just did run all. So, okay, maybe what this needs to be is, let's do Godot args as -- and then technically we don't need any of this. Okay, all the same. We still didn't record the test though. So we saved debug images for some reason. And then we have an OCR result. Ooh, that is not great. And we don't have a test result. Why wouldn't we have a test result? Hey, Minecraft man, how you doing? Do I have something where, or maybe it's like the lookup, right? Where see, now we've got so we are logging individual test results. No, we're not. If test cases, current test case. Skip. Skip? Really? I am kind of baffled here. Well, this one's skip. But the first one is not skipped. So why didn't we log it? Anyway, we have like angled page one only. That one runs and it scores correctly. Although slow as anything. Crazy slow. New chapter, I expect it to be a 0. Sure, why not? Shaky leg. It's doing the right thing, 93. Left and right, the right side of left and right. Scored a 98. We shouldn't be running the left anymore. The left just shouldn't happen. So that's correct. Just don't know why these other tests didn't run. And we have these, like these other ones ran. Yeah, we did the right page in this case. Yeah, so that's all fine. Let me delete these. My brain is glitching on this. I don't know why this wouldn't work. Anyway, if I did that one fix. So in theory, if I run test now, we just won't get the logs. The log images. We'll skip that, as we should. Alright, so that's going to do its thing. Yeah, why is that 100? Oh, it's 100 because we failed to detect the pages correctly. That's why. That's why this one I expect to fail every single time, this new chapter test. Alright, so -k align frames. Let's run that one and see if we can chase down why it doesn't do its thing. How's my coffee doing? Oh, well, it's going to run both of them. Great. Wow. Ooh, division by 0. Well, there's a bug to fix. Oh, it's because I did the -k flag. If I didn't do -k, I would have found it fine. Okay, so let's chase down this division by 0 error. Well, first off, skip true. So why are we even running it? We're also doing run next test, so load test cases. Why is load test cases not skipping it? Expected results, so for test name in keys. Let's see here. Specific test. Okay, so if it's a specific test, fine, we run it. That's true. Let's see here. But that's just the name. Fine, we'll do elif not test cases test name get skip. What is it? Yeah, skip. Okay, so if we're doing filter or a specific test, fine. Otherwise, like, don't add it if we're skipping it. All right, so if I... Fine. Let's get rid of the K. Line frames crop. All right, it's probably going to fail to find that, right? Why am I building again? I need to skip the build because we're not changing back-end code right now. And it's just taking extra time for no good reason. Okay, so that runs just fine. Gotcha. Division by 0. So in this case, when it does run, it's the right page. And the right page has no result. Test suite 161. Test count. So we don't log the individual test results. We're just doing the test report. That's why there's division by 0. So why are we not doing that? So we have the results. Processing right page, chunk 3. So this is saying OCR results for right page. Okay, so I think what happened is we call this, but it's not the final chunk. Why wouldn't it be the final chunk? Logger is final chunk. Also, yeah, let's do -S to skip building, so we just run a little faster. So it is the final chunk. Page is left and right, so we're processing the right page. Got you. So we fail to find the right page. Okay, fine. I don't know. I'm doing Vim for some reason. Let's do that, and we'll do right. But see, that text isn't going to line up right because we don't have the text for this page. But that's fine. I don't really care. Thinking about ripping out this test anyway. It's no longer important to me. Still getting that. Let's just do logger. And we'll do logger. We'll do str. Oh, but we're doing skip there, right? And skip's going to be true. That's why. Since we're skipping it, we don't log it. Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking we skipped it earlier, so we shouldn't be caring about this. We can get rid of that. Because if we got to this point, we should just be logging it. That means we ran the test. Why would we be doing it on the back end, right? So that fixes the division by 0 issue. That was a little stupid and distracting from what I'm working on. Wasn't trying to work on the test suite right now. There we go. So it scores a 14. Hey, you know, like that's better than the left side. Although again, it's comparing it to the wrong thing. Yeah. Well, we might fix that in a second. And let's run align frames. This one's got a similar problem, I think. Is that the issue, that we're going to like try to run the right side? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So if I do that, and run it again, so it gets a score this time, but of course it's getting like a 15, and that's because the page text is completely wrong. I can fix that, so the thing is, this is our input. Actually, let me see the result. So it goes to the right. So this is going to OCR pretty well. This will not. Sure. And the thing is, I can already tell it's going to be garbage. Because this is the OCR result, which is pretty bad. So again, I'm tempted to like rip out both these tests. How have they performed before? I mean, I kept around one of them. The other one I disabled. All right, I think it's time to probably turn them off. I think I'll do 100 here, which just kind of helps reinforce the fact that it's not a good test, because there's no way it's going to score 100, which is what I've done before. What if we do this one? Is this one going to get the left side? It did. So it did the left side. So the left side was flatter. In this case. Score is right. We're almost at 95. It just took too long to run, which, you know, I am streaming right now, so that tracks. All right, let me just go through them one by one. What about good? New chapter I can skip. We'll do shaky leg. Okay, this one failed. And again, it's doing the right page. Interesting that it says that the right side is more square. I guess it kind of is, right? Because this is pretty vertical here. And so is this. So that does feel like maybe it is a bit more square, whereas this is more angled. And of course there's a shadow over it, which is great. So this is the template for alignment. Quality low, quality low, averaged. So we actually end up doing, we don't average, right? Because we end up dropping out 2 of them. That's not too bad. I mean, it could be worse. But I'm guessing the results are pretty bad. So this whole like never found a line to match basically tells me like this is the first chunk and then we couldn't align the other chunks. Yeah. And then because we don't have right here. Which one was this? This was good. I'm tempted. Should I disable this one too? I don't know. Like all these like crossing the chasm tests are older. All the images for them are older. Like the meta improved the image quality of the images you get through their API. So the new images I'm getting, that's actually the reason why tests like this one score like a 98, I think, is because just the image quality is better. These other ones struggled to score well. I think the best I did was like a 94. 15, again, it's 15 for 2 reasons. But one of them is just because I don't have the right text. I only have the text from the other side. Let's disable it. I may turn these back on later, but honestly, if these tests aren't telling me anything, I might as well turn them off. Failure. It is left side. 93 is good. It's just the time. Yeah. Took too long to run. The question is there a new time penalty with the new logic I wrote? I don't think there is. All right. And then left and right. Shouldn't matter which one it picks up, but I think it picks up the right one. Which is probably indication that I'm doing the right thing here, because notice the score difference between these two. The left side scores a 92, the right side scores a 98. So if I even just go look at this, I think it's going to be obvious that the right side was better. So, I mean, not obvious to me. I'm holding the book pretty flat. But for whatever reason, well, not for whatever reason, my logic is detecting that the right side is more square. I mean, they look very similar to me. But it likes the right side more. There's a little bit of a crinkle here, honestly. But when we crop it down and binarize it, we actually get something pretty good. So if I run the whole thing, Why is it not skipping those tests? It's not skipping them. It should be. Let me see here. Let's not trigger any tests for a moment. Let's just load test cases. We just do logger string current test cases. Let's just try that. This should run fast. So that's fine. Let's just do logger test name plus do that str null. Didn't get anything for them. Logger str, and let's do oh, right. Gotcha. So we could skip individually. I think one idea I want to try though is just let's just let you skip the whole thing. So I mean, you can optionally do either. You can skip the whole at the whole test level, which is a lot of what I want. Or like you could skip, like only skip if it's a certain one. I think there's a problem here though. Yeah, there would be an issue there. Because if we did say we skip the right page, then what happens when right page is the one we detect? We don't log it, and then we get weird behavior. All right. Let me leave that as is, and then, well, fine. Let's run it one more time. Yeah, that worked. And I think this will run now. And I could probably kill all this, right? Invalid access to property or key neutral on base object dictionary. Huh, maybe that's why the audio broke. But here's our test report. And funny enough, we're back to 71.6. Hold on. No, the score went down. How's that happening? It's because of this test. And because we don't have more tests bringing the score up. Yeah, because we had a couple extra 90s in here before. So the average score is brought down. That's fine. That's what I get for turning off tests. Sound Manager. What was that error? Sound Manager 47. The emotion was neutral. Update emotion. Updating emotion to neutral. That's not a thing, right? Oh, neutral is a thing. Apparently. Under edge cases. Okay, well. Emotion songs for neutral. I think we'll go back to let go, right? Because let go was the default that we go with. There. So that passes the test and may actually fix that one bug I'm noticing in the headset when I'm not getting audio sometimes. I think it like crashes the audio runner. Cool, so that's that error. And I really need to have errors go more loudly. Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to catch those. All right, back to what we were trying to do. So I think that solved those issues. I've lost the plot. Git diff. What were we working on? Got stuck with a bunch of test improvements. Oh, right. So we had just gotten left page, right page working. The one thing I want to test is this. I suspect 190 is too small for us to get good OCR. I only turned it, the test that needed that I turned off. So I think we can go back up to above 200. And I think maybe go back to 250 was what I had before. But we're going to test this in just 1 second. Right, okay. We should be able to delete this. Because we're not going to wait for the second page anymore. Hold on. If not right page, I don't know what those are. Delete. So if final chunk, assuming we can get that page from the results, log it, and then we reset everything. That's fine. And then test report everything. Cool. Let's run this on the headset. Before I do that, let's build both. Not that it really matters. And headset setup, right? And Meta, you're going to be nice to me this time, right? Other than Windows not letting me bring up the task manager. I swear, Windows 10 is done, and so now Microsoft has just decided to make it even worse in what? To like force me onto Windows 11? Not going to happen, Microsoft. I'm not doing it. Although I don't know how I'm going to build this app on Linux. So, okay, seriously, where is this? There we go. Right. So we've got it. Cast it. It says it'll cast. Cool. Done building. Let me just make sure Android built properly. Yeah, cool. Every once in a while, as we saw earlier, you can make a change in C++ and it'll either work on Windows or it'll work on Android, but not both. I've gotten burned by that before, where I spent a bunch of time just testing something on Windows. Everything was looking great. Everything was great locally. Cool. Let me go test it on the VR headset. Oh, Android doesn't build, and all the code that I wrote for the last X amount of time had to get rewritten because it wasn't compatible with both Windows and Android. I've been burned by that before. But this is why we test regularly, test often. If we're going to fail, we want to fail as soon as possible. All right, switching to water. Headset's deploying. Where is my permissions? This one. Here we go. Gonna be happy. Happy, happy, happy. There we go. Set the permissions. Put the headset on. And then let us cast. Oh, come on. Don't tell me you're not going to cast now. I made all these promises about how I fixed it this morning, and now you're not going to work for me? What if I close the app? Launch? No, that's not what I wanted. Okay, it's launching the inverse casting where I'm sending the desktop to the headset, which is not what I want. Darn it, now it's saying I need controllers. Want to use a controller. Quit. Okay. But all the same, link. What's going on with link? Cool. That's fine. Cancel. Cast. You say you can do it. Why aren't you doing it? God damn it, Meta. I hate you. Well, I could cast to web. I don't know. Maybe I should do that. I've really gotten sick and tired of casting this way. Fine. Let me just run the... Well, no. You know what? Let's do this. This app is really annoying anyway. Constantly doesn't do the thing I want it to do. Where are we? Where does it say to go to? Let's get this working. Because I'm tired of this not working. So it's horizon.com. .meta.com/casting. Okay, it says it wants me to log in. And it's probably not going to work on Firefox anyway. Because why would it work on that? All right, hold on. Let me see if I can, let me give this one good shot. No. Not what I asked you to do. Okay, cool. Didn't really show anything that mattered. I don't think. Yeah, that's fine. Of course, it's going to do a code. Hold on. Okay, you say you sent me a code, but I see no... Oh, there we go. I love how they want you, they're going to email you a code, and then in addition to that, you got to use an authenticator app. Because reasons? See what this does. Right, well, this might be better because I think I can get like a better image maybe off of web, but let's try. And now it should just show up. There we go. All right. Close that. Where is my unknown sources? Okay. Now the lighting in here isn't amazing, but it should be good enough. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Audio is still broken. I don't know why. I'll have to check the logs for that. Ugh, it says that's a title. It shouldn't be a title. Let's see if this works for finding a new page. Come on. Are you even looking? See, this is one of the things that's on my list to fix today, is because it's saying it's searching for a book, but it's actually not. It's actually kind of stuck doing some other process. Why is it? I think it's actually stuck. Why is it stuck? Okay, now we're actually back to searching. There. Now it should get the right page. Let's see. Oh, well, that's kind of a crash. Okay. Well, hey. Trying to assign value of type nil to value color. But I think in this case, emotion was neutral. Yeah. Where did we start at? Hold on. Yeah, I don't know why it got stuck there for so long also. Like, it was definitely sitting here for a good, like, 45 seconds, and then it went back into the loop. Yeah. Okay. Life will be easier if I just force stop it. Okay. So neutral's got to be a thing. I mean, I do have this as a get. No, that's fine. So sound manager. See, this is fog though, right? I think it's going to be yellow. I think that's what we wanted. How do we initialize it? So fog.gd, this is in the empty scene, ceiling fog. Where is this? Yeah, fog.gd. Fog color. So this is on the shader material. Okay, we actually started with green. Right, because green's trust. 0.5, 1, 0.5, 1. Yeah, sure, fine. I may not do that. I might say, look, if it's neutral, then do trust. Yeah, I mean, what I do here for the sound manager. I mean, in this case, we do have like a neutral music. It's fine. Neutral is a state. It's kind of like the hidden ninth circle of things. I mean, I've got the 8 pairs, but then we have our like our default. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, I think it worked. I'm going to leave it for now. Hold on. Let's kill that there. Oh, right. We have 2 Chrome browsers. Here we go. Right, so one of them's here. Okay, I can full screen that, but I don't want to full screen it. I wish I could full window it. I mean, the nice thing is this is easier to resize than what we had before. I mean, I guess I can kind of dial it in like that. And then I should be able to stop casting on a whim, maybe. The only issue then is it doesn't overlay easily on top of Godot. I mean, I guess I could. No, I probably would just pop it back up. Yeah, I probably would do this and then that, and there you go. That's what you who are following along could then see while I'm in the headset. Okay. I'm going to call it a success, though. I think it works. I'll test that later on my own, but I'm pretty sure this is working. Let's push it up. So I'm going to do... And then we'll do git add test suite testing. And I think that's good. Okay, fine. Git commit -m update test suite to handle only one page at a time. And then I'll do just add everything else. Git commit -m only OCR one page at a time. Git push origin. Cool. I'll probably stop very, very soon. Stream a little bit longer. So we push that up. So that means I am going to run all the tests. Okay. Let me play around with this real quick. Can I just do stop casting? Which I do need to do sometimes because of like permissions and things like that. No, don't ask me how I felt about it. I don't want to answer that question. All right, if I go to quick controls, cast, web, and go, is it just going to bring us right back to where we were? It does. Okay, so that's pretty good. I might be able to be happy with that. There may be an ADB command for it. Let's grab the test results. And we're going to edit this. Why is the audio messed up? For some reason, I'm only getting audio in one ear. That's weird. Okay, that's fixed. What was I going to say? Yeah, so I'm going to put this here now, so that way, as I work on more things, I can see if anything got moved. Because this is like now very much a different test report than my normal one. We're now down at, like, from 78 down to 71. And the times are about the same, but I also have to see, when I run when I'm not streaming, this number should come down. Yeah, and then I can then start knocking out these. I'll try to knock out these this afternoon and call it done. Call this PR done. And then do another round of trying to read the book to see, like, does this make things snappier, faster? OCR is a little bit clearer, a little bit better. And then the other effort I'm going to work on this afternoon, this is what I was talking about before, which is like a different approach for page detection. Because the reason why this test fails is because it's the new chapter test. We've started a new chapter. You've got the left page that has like a single paragraph on it, but then 80% of that page is white. And then on the right side, you've got like a huge chapter title, a big white space, and then a small paragraph at the bottom. In both cases, my current approach of detecting text on the page ends up only finding a small text area, which is too small. It doesn't cross that threshold of size that we were seeing earlier in the backend code. So if we look at, where are we? Oh, see, this is that emotion stuff. Should be up here, right? Yeah. So target page size. This works. The problem with it is, what if you're reading a big book with big text? Or a small book with tiny text? Or again, a new page, new chapter where something's blank or there's only a couple of sentences on the page. Since this is detecting not the page size but the text size, we will fail in those cases, and we fail to detect a page properly, which sucks. Now, if I switch to page detection like I'm doing, that solves like the new chapter problem. So that test case should finally pass and get a good score. But we would still have a problem with like smaller books and things like that. So I may have to do something. I mean, we already have logic to detect characters and estimate their size. I don't know. Well, I'm going to first see how that new page detection logic goes. Is it faster? Or at least the same speed as the current approach? And does it actually detect the page? In which case, like, that'll just at least make part of the problem go away. And then maybe I'll just kick down the road the other problem, which is what happens if you're reading a small book or a book with small font Book with small font, we might actually need it closer to the camera. Ideally, we may even say, like, look, we actually care about the character size on that page, and we use that to determine whether or not it's safe to OCR. I do have mechanisms for doing that, although they are a little bit slow. But there might have other techniques for detecting the actual character size on the page. So maybe that's the metric instead of actual page size. I mean, we should use page detection to find and isolate the page. Again, to further illustrate what I'm saying. So here we're like kind of detecting high contrast, and then we're kind of like doing some tricks and techniques to get rid of the noise. And then we end up narrowing down to these two big blocks of continuous blocks. And this can actually even handle small paragraph breaks. But you'll see if you look closely, we've got a square there, a couple of squares here. It's only bare. This bottom portion is only barely attached to this top portion. So although it worked in this case, it's fragile. If that gap were any bigger, it would only detect the top half here, which is a problem. But you can see also, again, we're detecting the blob of text, which means we're missing the title. We're missing the page number at the bottom. So when we crop down, well, in this case, yeah, well, we end up cropping down to like getting rid of the title. Because again, we didn't detect that this was here, so we didn't include it. We ended up going tighter. And we still get the page number, but that's by accident. Most of the time we don't get it. So my goal would be if we can actually detect the page itself, then we can kind of skip. Like some of this could be faster, right? Like this is pretty fast, this high contrast approach. But if we can do page detection, because this is a big white square is what this is. If we can detect that, in theory it would be faster. And then we could skip a lot of this like crop enhance, like crop down, final crop. We could skip all that and just say, literally just crop, actually instead of padding out, pad in a little bit and just get us a nice clean page with a white border. So anyway, I'm going to mess with that this afternoon in addition to maybe finishing up these items and then do another round of testing to see, does that make it more readable? Like the OCR quality is good enough. I guess the problem I'm having right now is the mechanics of like what happens when you open the book and like how long does it take to detect the page and begin OCRing, and it's not flat enough. Is it too flat? Or no, wait, it's too far away. Oh, okay. Like in that case, this was like a good run because I had perfect lighting in the room and it ran real quickly. But I find that like sometimes it's just frustratingly annoying how long it takes. And then sometimes again, like I'll be trying to start reading on the left side, but it'll have decided that the right side was what should be OCR'd for whatever reason. So again, that's what I'm trying to fix, is like make these things faster so we can more quickly get to like OCRing the correct thing. So I guess that's the main frustration I'm having. Again, I'm kind of trying to follow the fun and follow the pain and get to a place where like I should be able to sit down with a book and read for 15 minutes and feel good if I'm doing it in the app. And if I am, then maybe it's good enough that I could share it with others and have others start testing it. But right now, it's just, there's these little tiny things that are just too annoying to do. And so it's not fun to read using the app just yet. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to stop there. Thank you for those who hung out with me. Minecraft Man, good to see you. And I will be streaming on Monday, I believe. Is that the plan? Let me see here. Yeah. Yeah, I should be able to do Monday. All right. Talk later.